All right, hey everyone. I just want to thank everyone for their donations for this 100% upgrade incentive. I'm swordsmankirby. I'm joined by Allegro on the couch. So I think we'll get started. Countdown: 3, 2, 1, go.
Go!
All right. So Virtual Boy Wario Land. It's a relatively short game, but as you can see, there's some 3D effects going on already. And one of the most important mechanics is this belly flop mechanic. It allows you to roll around corners and just bounce off of enemies. But regular Wario is kind of slow, so we're going to switch over to Bull Wario. As you can see, big dash attack. In fact, you can even clear this big gap with it.
Yeah, the game kind of intends you to go into the background, which is pretty much the main gimmick of this game, which definitely inspired some later games down the line.
Yeah, so my first thought, as a Kirby enthusiast, was that this reminded me a lot of Triple Deluxe. But, unfortunately, we didn't really get to see, for example, like a 3DS Virtual Console re-release of this. But, yeah, so for 100%, basically there's 10 regular stages. There's a treasure in each of them. And in addition to that, you also need to find the key that will unlock the next elevator.
Yeah, and just a quick note on how we're even capturing this. This is thanks to a very great mod by Furtek that lets us get video output from one of the eyes on the Virtual Boy, and we can just get it through VGA. So really cool that this exists, that we can actually play this on console.
Yeah. So yeah, this is being run on original hardware. But the mod gets us like 90% of the way there, but you might notice these sort of like abrupt screen transitions. Normally, the game is like hiding it with like fade outs and fade ins by adjusting the brightness of the Virtual Boy. Unfortunately, the mod doesn't capture that. So if it looks a little bit jarring, that's why. All right, so right now I'm using Sea Dragon. It doesn't have much movement options. It's basically just for blowing fire. So we're going to do a little bit of a detour to switch back to Bull. And even though this next stage, you don't really get too much opportunity to use Bull, and you're about to see why, it is useful for the treasure, which is at the very, very last room. So this is the obligatory water level. Oops, okay, that chainsaw shark thing got a little bit closer than I wanted to.
Yeah, you might notice that swordsmankirby is going to be hugging the ceiling when swimming. It's the preferred movement for most people that are running the game, so it makes swimming a lot more consistent, and you can just kind of bypass a lot of the enemies.
Yeah, so not too much to explain for right now, so we can definitely squeeze in some time for donations.
Absolutely. We've got $25 from Maybe Your Pie that says, as someone who actually loved their Virtual Boy and did it portably on road trips as a kid, let's pretend it was comfortable. Gotta donate during a Virtual Boy run. Virtual Boy Defenders Unite! Thank you, GDQ, for everything. And thank you, Maybe Your Pie, for your donation.
All right, so this last room coming up here is basically the whole reason why we get Bull. So it's now out of water, and you can squeeze in some dash attacks. But the most important part is that this can only be broken by Bull's ground pound. So having Sea Dragon, you have to find Bull some way. And normally the old route was to come here and hit this question mark block, but the backtrack that we did in the previous stage is just a little bit faster than the backtrack in this stage. All right, so after 3 regular stages, there's going to be a boss. And Allegro, maybe you can explain this, how the setup works.
Yeah, so before the boss, you have this guard that you have to hit in the head twice. You want to keep the guard towards the center because it always has to reset in the center, so you want to save time by not having it be far off. And so this is the first boss, Dinosaur Fish, I'm fairly certain that's what it's called. Yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting demonstration of the 3D, even though we're just on kind of a 2D screen here, but whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. But yeah,
Whoa!
so Swords and Kirby's going to be kind of set up towards the middle, and once the boss hits the water the second time, he's going to do a full jump and is going to just bop the boss in the head. So rinse and repeat, and fairly straightforward. So time for a couple donations.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got $10 from Inverse Skies that says, never seen a virtual Game Boy before. Super excited to see this run of Wario Land. Well, you are seeing it expertly played by Swordsman Kirby here. I'm actually curious, we had a Virtual Boy Defender inside the donations here. Are there any other Virtual Boy stands? What is your favorite Virtual Boy game? I want to see it inside the comments here. Let's also see it in chat.
Jack Bros is a really good Virtual Boy game as well.
Do I have time for another donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got $250 from Neat. No comment, but thank you so much for your generous donation to Doctors Without Borders, earning your seat for a drawing for the grand prizes for the marathon. And we are officially over 50% of the way to that normal difficulty Little Samson run with a $3,000 goal. Thank you so much, chat. I believe in you. Let's keep it going.
All right, so stage 5 is where the game starts to get broken open. This is actually a very new route. Even though this game doesn't have much activity, this route was actually only discovered within the past month. And it's to get this eagle hat right here, as opposed to later in the stage. And the eagle hat kind of looks like Bull for now, but in about 2 seconds, you'll see why it's so broken. So in addition to having a dash attack, you can also dash in midair, and you can also jump out of it in midair. So it allows you to just basically fly over a whole bunch of stuff. So the reason why I say it's a new route is that it actually loses, it's like a difference between so-called in-game time versus real time. So real time is like actual, like real passage of time. In-game time is what the game keeps track of. So because this is not exactly the most accessible game to play for play on original hardware, the most fair way that we've had for comparing runs done on console and non-console is through in-game time. So one of the things that doesn't keep track of, meant to bop off that enemy. One of the things that doesn't keep track of is screen transitions. So in some games you have these strats where you purposely go through more screen transitions, even if it ends up being slower in real time, to save that in-game time. So that strat, I think, loses 3 seconds real time, but it saves 3 seconds in-game time. Okay.
Yeah, so this stage, the Eagle Hat is really helpful for just crossing the gaps here and skipping all these really strong currents.
Yeah, so Eagle Hat and Sea Dragon Hat actually combine into King Dragon.
Yeah, sadly this one it's considered the strongest, but it's not really the best for going fast.
Yeah, so we're actually gonna purposely take damage. It's like the strongest hat, so the game doesn't want you to like accidentally lose it by touching a different hat, but we actually want the Eagle Hat just to go fast.
Yeah, and you'll see that Swordsman Kirby hit a switch, and he's gonna need to hit another one a little bit later after getting this key here, and just get the treasure that's up the waterfall.
Yeah, that key grab sound is like unusually loud compared to like everything else in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so not too much else to explain here. I'm just gonna go here and hit another switch, get the treasure, and then just leave. So we can definitely squeeze in some more donations here.
Yeah, squeeze it in. I definitely want to do. We got $10 from GKlein88 that said, I got a job in April, which means I can donate toward more incentives. Remember, borders are merely a suggestion. That's right. With that donation, we are just over $1,000 that needs to be made for that 3,000 goal of the upgrade to normal difficulty for Little Samson. How wild would it be if we're able to get that incentive met during this run? Chat, you're absolutely killing it. I'm loving it. Got time for another?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got $10 from Good Guy 3 saying, all hail the virtual boy. Thank you for your donation, Good Guy.
All right. So stage 7 is a little bit scary. There's a lot of enemies. So I'm just gonna, whoop. Actually, oh no, this is already wrong.
Oh boy.
Okay, well, let's just try to get through this slowly. All right, wasn't supposed to take damage there, but it's okay. So I guess I'll have to wait for this tornado here. But normally if I had Eagle, I'd be like going really close to these piranhas to try to fly over the stage as quickly as possible. But I guess I'll just take it the slow way because I do want Eagle for the rest of this.
Yeah, and at the end of the room here, swordsmankirby's going to wait for one of the tornadoes that he's supposed to ride and try to open up the door a little bit early by just kind of waiting through, like getting through the animation of the sandhill being depleted.
Yeah, so normally you have to wait for the sandhill to either squeeze in before it or do that. But that strat of just like running in after the tornado was discovered by my friend Jay, who's not a runner of this game. They were just playing it casually and just told me about this great strat, and I've been doing it ever since.
Got time for some Virtual Boy love.
All right. Yeah.
We have $5 from Oro saying Virtual Boy Defender here. Teleroboxer is a must-play game. We also have $6 from Ghost Kumo saying, I've played exactly 2 Virtual Boy games and can confirm that Jack Bros is an underrated game. And also somehow the first Shin Megami Sensei game ever in English. Eat your heart out, Persona fans. Good luck to SK, also Double Fire, and hi Allegro. Thank you so much for your donations.
Thanks, Ghost Kumo. Thanks, Oro.
Yeah, thanks guys.
All right, let's try not to take damage here. I was actually not so scared of the first room. I was actually scared of this room. So I'm going to take it super slow here and just fly over everything.
Yeah, you can fall into those one-tile gaps there, and it's not a good time.
It's a really foolish way of like losing time. But I made it like even sillier mistake earlier. But that's okay. We're still moving along. So coming up is the second boss. And at the beginning, there's also another one of these guard enemies, but it gets like supposed to be like a little bit more complicated. So now it's shooting missiles, and I'm actually purposely crouching down, not just showing my butt to the guard intentionally for no reason. And it's because the guard actually aims for Wario's head, so it skips a little bit of an animation if you're crouching down like that.
Yeah, so we're going into the next boss. It's Sandfish, and it's about as simple as the last boss. Basically just going to bait the boss to face one direction, then just bop the head on the opposite direction. So yeah, probably another great opportunity for some more Virtual Boy love from Twitch chat.
There indeed is a lot of Virtual Boy love, both in the chat and in the donation comments. We have $50 from Maz Dangerous saying, I have such fond memories of Wario Land on the Virtual Boy. My posture has never recovered. And I still remember the crippling migraines just like they were yesterday. This 100% incentive is making me relive that childhood trauma. Maz, thank you so much for that donation. We also have $10 from Nintendo. My older brothers saved up and bought a Virtual Boy when they first came out. He said they would take turns playing, getting sick, and playing again. He said they were like the celebrities of the neighborhood with the new Virtual Boy. Oh man, memories. Thank you so much, Nintendo, for your generous $10 donation. Got time for another donation?
Yep,
we
ahead.
have $100 from Escapade saying, absolutely loving these runs in support of an amazing cause. Best of luck to all the runners and trans rights. With that, we are $1,000 away from our upgrade to normal difficulty Little Samson run. Now less than $1,000 away because people are putting that add incentive button when you're making the donations. Let's make it happen.
All right, really, really random level here. You're hoping that these enemies drop watermelons to progress to the stage. So basically in the background, there are these things that you need to hit with the watermelon. So for this one, we have to hit this big switch that uncovers this one. And it is random whether the enemies will drop it, so kind of unfortunate. For any percent, you actually don't need to worry too much because you just need these 2 watermelons right here. Here's the key.
Yeah, this stage kind of gives me PTSD from reminding me of Mario Sunshine in a way. But yeah.
For 100%, you need 2 extra watermelons here to unlock the treasure. So hitting them into these cups right here.
Yeah, and the cycle in the background doesn't start until it's in view. Oh no.
Yeah, so that can happen. Oh,
they're not wanting to play nice.
Yeah.
Oh no.
come on.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how. This is probably the worst I've ever seen it.
Oh
so.
no! Has this happened?
Probably. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's okay. We take those too. Good time to squeeze in a donation while you're.
Yeah.
We got $50 from the one Curly that says, "Shout out to hardware modders making it possible to capture games like this for us all to enjoy." Absolutely, the communities that are out there put so much hard work so that we could see this amazing gaming here at Summer Games Done Quick, supporting Doctors Without Borders. Let's go.
All right, so this stage has a pretty interesting gimmick where it's cycle-based, where at the bottom right, there's a timer to give Swordsman Kirby like 20 minutes, which plenty of time. Like, way too generous. But every 30 seconds, cuckoo clocks are gonna go off, and there's a key hidden in one of them. So it's a little bit of tight timing of having to get to the clock and get the key as well. So
it is just barely possible to make the 1930 cycle for any percent, but 100% no chance. So
yeah.
Oh, okay, I have enough time for this. We do have a little bit of leeway. So here I'm actually purposely waiting until 1929 so that these clocks don't open up. They start dropping enemies, so I really don't want them to be in the way. So we do have a little bit of leeway, but now after this point, there's about like 2 seconds. So I don't want to make any large mistakes at this point on. So I'm trying to catch, you're trying to get the treasure, and in my case, switch back to Eagle Hat all within this like 19 flat cycle. All right, so now switching back to Eagle. An earlier route would get Eagle later, like after you get the key. So if you can squeeze it in here, that does save time there. All right, so plenty of time, 1902. I'm just gonna wait underneath this clock for it to open.
There you go.
All right, so now just exiting the stage so we can squeeze in a few more donations.
Definitely. We have a $5 donation from Sophie that says, "A big thank you to Doctors Without Borders, all the runners, the GDQ team, and my fellow donators. You bring me so much joy and hope each year. Keep up the good work." Oh, thank you so much, Sophie, for that donation, those kind words. And we are officially under $900 to get to that normal difficulty Little Samson run. We are so close. I can feel it. I can taste it. Let's make it happen, chat.
So yeah, this is probably one of the scariest levels.
There's pits everywhere.
Yeah, so Swordsman Kirby's going to try and hopefully get over this enemy, but it can be pretty easy to get hit later in the stage. This is where the treasure is going to be hidden. Hey, that's the guy that blocks physical, right?
Wait, what?
Never mind. That's a Mega 10 joke.
Yeah.
I think Ghost Kimo would have enjoyed that one.
All right, this is the scary room right here. I've been taking a lot of damage in it recently. So hopefully I can get through this. Okay, good.
Got over it. Yeah.
That one enemy has been giving me so much trouble recently. So the whole point of all this is to try to catch this fan cycle. So a little bit of a wall jump there. Wall jumping is not as useful as you might think in this game. Like that's like the one place where you kind of have to do it, quote unquote.
Yeah. That was a really clean stage. That is really good.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I was basically like while the previous round was going on, I was practicing nothing but that room for like half an hour. So I'm glad that I didn't take damage there. All right, another guard, except instead of missiles, they're lasers. But it's actually a little bit easier. You actually have more time to line up. Oh, well, as I say that, I have like the worst lineup possible. You actually have more time to line up right next to the guard as it jumps. Okay, so this next boss is actually quite difficult, and I'm sure I'm gonna mess it up. It's a really, really finicky trick. But this boss is called Tank and Operator.
Yeah, so Swordsman Kirby is going to start out in the background once it starts firing off the tank. He's going to try and bounce off him, and hopefully not get too much recoil here. Try to bop off the operator from the tank.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
There.
Nice.
Oh, I think third hit. That's okay.
You can one cycle that in the background.
Okay, still pretty good. Got one of them at least.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so each time you get that quick hit and prevent it from jumping from foreground to background, it saves about 4 seconds, so you can save about 8 seconds in this fight. But I'm just glad that got it once, just to show what it looks like. But yeah, we can squeeze in a donation or two here.
Yeah, we got $10 from Ilya Rika saying, I remember playing Wario Land on the Virtual Boy as a kid. My eyes hated me for it, but I always loved this game. Thank you so much for that donation, Ilya. And we are just over $750 for that little Samson normal difficulty upgrade. I'm so excited.
All right, so last stage, this one's actually maybe one of the least hidden treasures, or maybe most, depending on how you think about it.
I would think that the last stage it'd be hidden pretty deep in, but nope, it was at the very start.
Right. Yeah, right. So we're actually going to do a huge sequence break here with the eagle hat. Oop. Let me just make sure I don't damage myself here. So grabbing that key with the eagle hat skips an entire trip around the entire stage. So having the eagle hat is super crucial for that. And we're just going to go through the rest of the stage. And maybe one thing I should mention is that the physics between the background and the foreground are a little bit different. So here I'm really making sure that I'm jumping before I break the block. For some reason in the background you just get more recoil bouncing off of stuff. All right, so let's see here. Just gonna fly over all of it.
Yeah, some of these rooms can be pretty scary with all the spikes coming at you.
Okay, this room is gonna look pretty incomprehensible in 2D, but now I'm in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So this is that first room where I did that big jump to get the key, but now I'm in the background. And that's basically it. All right, so coming up is the final boss. So let me just double check that I've collected all the treasures. Let's see here. So on the screen, okay, I got all of them. And now we're on the final boss.
So we got one more guard to deal with here, and it's going to be shooting rockets.
Yeah, these rockets fly all over the place, so I'm just going to cheese the first one and then purposely damage myself for the second one. Okay, good.
Okay.
I don't need the hats anymore, so I'm okay doing the final boss with small Wario.
Yeah, normally this boss is quite hard to handle, so but Swordsman Kirby has a pretty interesting way of handling this fight. So there's going to be a total of 5 hits, and the first hit, the game just gives it to you from the start. So normally this fight, you have to be bouncing between the foreground and background with the big trampoline. But after the first hit here, Swordsman Kirby is going to go off to the left here, and when this boss completely goes off screen, slowly straight to the middle, and just immediately jump in, and you can just land hits.
All right, 2 more hits.
Yep, the time's going to be coming up after the last one.
All right.
Get ready on time.
And time.
GG.
All right, so yeah, that's Wario Land, Virtual Boy Wario Land 100%. Just want to give a quick shout out to Wario community, especially Soap Agent, who helped me prepare while I was de-rusting for this run. But yeah, anyways, yeah, thanks everyone for watching.